Good morning, my friends. Rich Lohman here with your woohooing thought of the day. Happy Tuesday to you. And let's get into the thought this morning. Today's thought inspired by a comment on one of the past thoughts. We've moved through the through the 7 habits, and now I'm going to move into maybe a different venue, a different lane series. But was inspired by Peter Stippen asking, "What's the daily dozen?" And he said he had his daily five. So I'm just going to explain what the daily dozen is today as the thought of the day, and then challenge you to what you do consistently every day. The daily dozen comes from the law of process, from the 21 laws of leadership. Don't misconstrue the leadership word as something just for the boss or somebody besides you. We're all leaders. We all have the ability to influence, but leaders don't develop daily, or I'm sorry, leaders don't develop in a day. Leaders don't develop when they read a book. Leaders develop daily. Every day they have a consistent process that they go through. So what I've learned is, if you want to see how someone becomes a champion, look at their daily routine. What I've done is I've developed a daily dozen for my life. I call it the 5, 6 plus 1, 5 plus 6 plus 1, and that's 12. So the first 5 things that I'm going to share with you all are my purpose statements, my purpose categories, which is God, to honor and glorify his kingdom through my actions. The second thing is relationships, to build and sustain and maintain the best possible relationships with those I love. The third thing is to maintain and always be ready mentally and physically for whatever is going to come, and that's health and fitness. So my first 3 are God, relationships, and health and fitness. My fourth purpose is around growth, to continually grow in my life so that I can add value to others. Can't add value, can't give what you don't have. So I'm always in a growth mindset. The last one is freedom and flow. Have the freedom to do whatever I want in life through the flow of money. And I continue to want to get better and better at that freedom and flow thing, which is my career. But it lends into, if I create the flow of money, I can have the freedom to go hunting, go fishing, do those kind of things. So Peter Stippen, those are my 5 that I start with. Now, I take the next 6 and say, every day I've got to make sure that I live my life fully, that I love others unconditionally, and that I learn something. If I don't stay right in that moment, right in that zone of living fully, loving unconditionally, and learning something, I get lost in my life. And those are clarity statements. That's what I want my life to look like. The second 3 of the 6. So we've already said I've got my 5 purpose statements. I'm in the 6 right now. I want to show every human being that I interact with that I care about them, that I want to help them, and that I want to earn their trust. So those are part of my daily 6, if you will, to live fully, love unconditionally, and learn something. Care about others, help others, and earn others' trust. So there's my 11. Now those 6, or the 12th one, the plus 1, is just quite honestly to be consistent with it. So that's how I've built my daily dozen. So every day I get into the routines, and my hope is that at some point in my future, I become a better version of myself because of what I'm willing to go through and stay consistent each and every day. So God, relationships, health, growth, freedom, and flow. Live, love, learn, care, help, trust, and be consistent. Those are my daily dozen. So what I'd like to know from you all is, how consistent are you? Do you have a daily 5? Do you have, 3 to 5 categories, 10 categories? What do you do to become the best version of yourself every day? Those are my 12 categories that I focus on. Those are my clarity statements. That's just my life coming right at you, saying, this is who I want to be every day. And when I put my head on my pillow at night, I do think about these statements, and I do, basically evaluate myself, evaluate success and failure, and let it go, and fall asleep, and then wake up the next morning and say, okay, How am I going to put God first? How am I going to build relationships? And it just keeps evolving and going each and every day. So that's my daily dozen. What do you got? What process are you doing to become a better version of yourself every day? The scripture that I like to tie with this is from 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15, which says, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. See, I want to put God first, and I don't want to be ashamed of any of my actions. I've made a lot of mistakes in my past, but if I follow my daily dozen, my future looks bright. I want your future to look bright. So I want you to develop what are the 5, 10, 7, I don't care what the number is, just don't overwhelm yourself. But what are the things that you pay attention to each and every day, that you are consistent with it, you're good with it, and you have more successes than failures at it? That's today's thought of the day. So I'd be encouraged to see what you guys are saying. I didn't necessarily look at all the comments, but good morning, Peter and Stephanie and Kelly and Candace. Oh my goodness, there's so many people on here this morning. I'm excited to see you guys. So I hope this is a good conversation around the daily dozen. My 5 plus 6 plus 1. That's my life. That's how I live it. And I hope to live it each and every day better and better. Have a great day, guys.